It's never that.
Do you have a particular morning routine that you usually do?
Yeah, so I always kind of start with I first thing is I stay in bed for as long as I can. I don't have an alarm, which is a blessing. So I don't wake up usually with
Mm.
an alarm. So I'll just kind of wake up naturally, which is such a gift. And then I'll kind of thank the Lord for being present and being for awake. And then I think those thoughts around like, here's God just kind of breathing into me. I try to just kind of stay in that like conscious awareness for as long as I can. So as like as thoughts start coming up, I'll just like kind of try to like watch them versus following them. Like, oh, this is coming up and that's coming up. Like that's very interesting, and I'll kind of just like let those kind of flow out of me. Um, I used to spend the morning kind of recapping the day before and the things that I was really grateful for, but I've actually moved away from that. And now
Mm.
I try to really stay in the moment of like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like we have routines. So we think like, oh, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get a glass of water. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But I'm like, I try to kind of, now I start reminding myself like anything could happen. So just stay present because literally anything can happen next and you want to be ready for that moment kind of thing. So that's kind of one thing I try to really emphasize in the morning as well. And then I usually try to get like a glass of water and like sit out on the balcony and I have my tree that oh my gosh, it's so strange. I went on a walk the other day and I was like, I didn't actually go up to the tree because I was like, that's a little too weird. But I just stood on the tree and I was like, hey, my name's Chimdi. I'm the one like across the balcony always looking at you. Just want to let you know that you're really important to me. You really mean a lot to me. And so I introduced myself to that tree. So I have my like couple of trees that are my friends and I just check in with them. Usually the clouds are doing something great. So I just spend some time watching them, do their thing. And I like to finish a full glass of water before doing like checking my phone and see if my friends have sent me any voice notes, checking email, doing stuff like that. So it's like a lot of just like presencing in the morning, just like gratitude and just being in nature and just trying to remember that every moment truly is its own thing. Like every moment is once in a lifetime. And just like remembering that like actually anything could happen. And the more open, this is something that Joe Dispenza says that like the more you focus on the unknown, the more things that are unknown and new happen to you. So just kind of being open to the new things that are going to happen, which is allowing them to be called into my life. Yeah.
Love Joe Dispenza.
It's great.
Good
Gosh.
stuff.
Have you heard of, I don't know his first name. His last name is Hart, I think, Hardt. His whole thing is like alpha brainwaves.
Uh-uh. I'm taking notes because you
Girl.
coming up with names I don't know.
He wrote a book called The Art of Smart Thinking. And I think if you just Google like bio cybernaut, which is a made up word that he made up, you'll find his website and some of his stuff. And it's literally all about how we can we ourselves can control our alpha brain waves and the beta and the theta and all those things.
Yes.
And about it, he has this process where you literally train yourself to like have this immediate feedback of knowing you're creating alpha so you can create more. And it's like after like 7 days in his training, it's like 20 years of like meditation. So I'm just like, but it costs money, of course. So, but I'm like, once I get some money, I'm gonna train my little alpha waves.
Yeah, and I've thought about doing one of Joe's workshops too, because he has that whole setup too that you can do.
That
Be
sounds
really cool to see what happens. Like I
mm-hmm.
can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have better control of it.
Yeah. I feel like his stuff is the most and that's what I was so interested in reading that Art of Smart Thinking book, because it's all about basically the idea that like we have for so long it's been like science in one camp and then like mysticism and faith and in this other camp, and about the point is to kind of merge these together. And that's a lot of what this one guy is doing is around like you literally when you've got both hemispheres of your brain in sync, it literally creates a halo around your head. So when we think about these spiritual people who have had like halos depicted in art, it's because they were just, I was gonna be like, their shit was so aligned. Like they were so aligned.
Yes.
So there really is this way of bridging these two together. And all these folks have their own way. But yeah, when the stuff that Joe Dispenza is doing with like literally folks who have been, in wheelchairs, like getting up and walking. I'm like, it's the stuff that Jesus talks about, and it's just, that's what Jesus said, is that we would do this stuff even more than what he was doing. I think that's so cool that like in my lifetime, this stuff that literally is magic is like happening. I just think it's so interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's been happening. It's just that now the white scientists are talking about it, and
You're
so
right.
it's real.
You're right. That's literally the truth. That's literally the truth. Now Western, you're so right.
You know, it's
Mhm.
been happening, and
So
I
true.
love it that the white scientists believe it now and are sharing their science and their data and stuff because that they have another perspective to add, you
Yeah,
know?
and they're a part. We're all a part of it. They have their role to play so that they
Yeah,
can kind of take this, like, now we are an authority figure, and now
yeah,
we lend things this, like, credibility that
yeah.
otherwise folks wouldn't have given it. Yeah, it's so
Because
true.
like, even just 10 years ago, the stuff I was doing, people would have called too woo-woo, you know what I mean? Like, "What
I
is that? Oh my god. What do you mean?" Oh, in fact, I remember one time writing up a proposal because I used to get hired as a consultant to start new programs because
Mhm.
I started some cool programs for people who were on the streets, and anyway, one time in one of my proposals, I used the word energy, and this person just ripped me a new one. "What do you mean energy? What is that?" Like, "You need to define that if you're gonna use that word."
Are you familiar with, Dr. Gabor Mate and his whole thing around,
Oh,
like
yes. Oh,
okay.
I love Gabor Mate. Oh my
So
god.
I was chatting with one of my friends, and I found Gabor Mate a couple months ago. This is very new to me, right?
Okay,
I was
okay.
chatting with my friends who their friend grew up, like their parents knew about Gabor, so she grew up in that kind of environment. So when she as a child would be like, "Oh, I have a sore throat," her parents would say, What truth are you not speaking about yourself right now that's
Mhm,
manifesting in the form of this sore
mhm.
throat?" And I remember when she told me that being like, now as someone who gets it, I can understand that there's the truth of that. But even a year ago, I'd have been like, if you don't give that girl a cough drop and let her get her fucking treatment, what are you talking about? What is going on in your spiritual life? What girl is sick? So even just like it's like that curve. It's
I
so
love
dramatic
that
how
so
even
much.
at truly 6 months, I'm just like, yeah, let's talk about what's going on in your inner world because it's manifesting. Like it's so
Oh,
something is blocking your chakra or something. Like, yeah,
yes.
wild.
Yes. In fact, you know, it's funny because I was, noticing, you know, I'm new to the YouTube space, and I've done a lot of performing in the past, right? I started out a musician. I was a classical musician when I was a kid, and then as an adult, I became an actress and I became a stand-up comedian, and so I've done a lot of performing.
So
But
dope.
this whole talking to a camera in my bedroom thing
Mhm.
is super new.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm slowly getting more comfortable, but I realized that my voice was still not really strong,
Hmm.
and I wasn't letting myself say a lot of the things I wanted to say. I was really editing too much.
Yeah.
So I actually found this class I started yesterday called Free Your Voice.
Yeah.
And you know, I think there's a whole nother layer of healing I'm gonna be doing around my feeling like I shouldn't say certain things, and I, you know, need to be more reserved and things like that.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
excited. And after just one class, I felt a difference. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this stuff's powerful."
That's awesome. And that has been 100% my journey, has been the more comfortable I get with being myself and speaking my truth, the more successful I get because it's what we all want, it's what we all resonate with. And we all are low key. We're all the same person. So we're all thinking the same things and having the same feelings. And so people really
Love
gravitate
it.
towards you when you are speaking the truth because they're like, that is the truth. They're like, yes. And they know that they also should be saying it and they're on their journey to get there. So when they see someone who's like, "You're saying the thing," it's like, "Mm-hmm." And we
Mhm,
all know that, like, and you will too soon. You know,
mhm,
might mean taking a class or doing something else, but you're gonna get to that point because it feels so good to just speak.
mhm.
You know, so yeah, I love that for you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited about it. Amber Field, by the way, is the teacher.
Mm.
Very good, very
It's
good.
a virtual class.
No, it's actually in person too. That's what's so
Oh,
fun. I haven't had an in-person class since before COVID,
beautiful.
so
That's
it's
beautiful.
really exciting
That's
to
such
be able to
great.
meet with people. We meet in a park outdoors.
Oh, yay.
Oh, but like to see them and to be able to hug them after, oh,
What a blessing.
priceless.
That's yeah. It's just a blessing to appreciate what it is. What a blessing to just be together. Who would have thought that we needed a reminder of that being a blessing? But I'm very grateful that I appreciate people so much deeper now.